her general manager and her team back at home. So, can we do a scan and say hello to everybody?
Yeah, so we're doing a little experiment. It was something that we brainstormed about, and my DOS is super into social, and he's very new to our property, so it's great to have his support. And he said, Hila, wouldn't that be so cool if we periscoped and we could watch you in the office? And my GM's like, yeah, we'll broadcast in the employee cafeteria. I'm like, please don't. Please don't. You guys can sit in the office and watch me if you like, but please don't. So before I get started, I just have a question that I've been thinking about, and it relates to this. But by a show of hands, how many people have a team that supports you, helps you, manages a channel for you, where you're not on your own island out there by yourself? Okay, a pretty good amount of people. Okay. So hopefully this will benefit both sides of the spectrum. But yeah, I'm going to talk about how I built my committee on property. Maybe. Hopefully. Any day. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is my committee. I'm not going to go through every single person, but Laura's here, so it's very exciting. She's from our corporate office, Stanford Hotels. But I have a kind of a diverse team, which is great. I like to call it departmental diversity. So that way we have eyes everywhere, because I'm a sales manager. I cannot be all over the hotel just walking and looking for what's happening. So I need eyes and ears everywhere for me, right? So I have somebody from HR, I have people from the front desk, I have my chef who's like taking pictures and posting on Instagram for me. I have my DOS and my GM. Obviously my GM's been my right hand since 2 years ago when I went in his office and interviewed, and he said, we don't really know what we're doing, but if you're willing to take the ride with us, we're gonna figure it out together. And I said, okay, let's do it. So I have a great support team. Everything still goes through me, but having multiple people that I can rely on to get me content, to take pictures for me when I can't be there, it's really crucial, and it helps me do my job so much better. It's not working.
I'll be here.
Do you want me to stand over here and click? It doesn't matter. It's not working. So I just wanted to talk about like how I started from the beginning and how I built what I have now over the past 2 years. So when I first got on property, nobody had any idea that we were even doing social whatsoever. Like we had a Facebook, a Twitter, and an Instagram. The Instagram had like 2 posts and nobody had ever even seen them. So I started with word of mouth. So I went around and got to know all the frontline employees, made friends, if you will. Not necessarily people that I'm going out on the weekends and drinking with, but people that I see them in the hotel, they know me, I know them, they know what I do, and I'm getting them involved. I went through and added people that I worked with on my personal Facebook, but what I ended up doing was, when I took pictures and I recognized the employees, I would then tag them. So then they saw, their friends saw, they got excited, they shared it, and then it continued on. So it was more of an organic approach as opposed to putting dollars behind it at first. It was just getting the word out there that we're doing something where you work. Be involved, see what we're doing, be proud of where you work. We also like to translate what I do on Facebook and Twitter and all that, and I do them on PowerPoint slides, and then I hang them up on our employee cafeteria walls, in places of constant traffic, put them down the cafeteria, so even people that don't have access to email, like housekeeping and engineering and whatnot, they can still see what's going on, and if they were mentioned on Facebook, then they can still see it, even if they don't personally have a Facebook or a Twitter account. So you can click, there's just a couple examples. So this is just a couple examples on Facebook when I tagged employees through my personal page, because obviously we're not adding friends on the Hilton Dulles page. It's just not what we do. We add companies or businesses or people that we want to create relationships with. But we did, and I think somebody else had this in their presentation, that lighted up blue. I love that. And so I tagged, of course there was more than, 12 people in there, but I had 11 of them as friends, so I tagged them all, and organically we reached 1,000 people. So it helps because even if they're not necessarily going to come and stay with us, we're getting out there and people are seeing what we're doing, and the employees are proud to be part of the community and to be recognized, and their family members comment like, great job for everything that you're doing at your hotel and for the community. So it's a really huge sense of pride, but it gets us exposure also. So I did touch on like recognizing the employees, and I really like to do that a lot, but I'm trying not to do it as much through Facebook and Twitter just because we need to have a good general mixture of content, but the employees really like it, and it's easy for me because I get collages that my revenue analyst makes because she does all of our H360 posts, so we communicate in that way. So she puts everything on H360, sends it over to me, and I push it out through the other channels. But these are just a few of the posts that I like to do to recognize the employees, tag them, and then they get that recognition and they become more involved and more into buying what I'm selling, basically. So how would you select people to be on your committee or to be part of your team that would help the strategy that you either have in place or that you want to implement? So I went and I reached out to employees that have really long tenure, people that have been there for 20 plus years. They know our regulars, they know the business, they know what our hotel does, they know how it operates, they know everyone on property. Those are the people that get on your team and back you up and give you support, especially people that are on Blue Energy. I'm part of Blue Energy. I was introduced to Blue Energy just because I was part of social media, and my GM said, get in Blue Energy. This is a great opportunity for you to learn more about what we're doing with the community and more about our employees in general. So I took part in that, and a lot of my team members are part of Blue Energy Committee also. Again, departmental diversity. You need eyes and ears everywhere that you can't always be. And find people that are already active on social. It's very easy. They're already doing it, so they are going to follow us and they're going to share it out, and and there it goes. So it's easy for them. How do we get our team members that are on the committee involved? So this can be kind of tricky. We, at my property, we meet once a month. I do an agenda, and then we have 3 actionable items. And we go over those 3 actionable items from the previous month, where we're at with those, and then we go through what's happened through the month, and then we list 3 more actionable items for the next month, and then we assign duties, basically. Okay, you're gonna work on this with this person, and then you're gonna get the information back to Kayla, and then that's how we handle that. That's just an example of one of the agendas that I do every month for the team. And then I did mention Chef is very into what he creates. He actually has a garden that he built on property, so that's his baby. So I actually got him all hooked up with our hotel Instagram account, so now he can go on and post about his garden, and it's fun for him, and he's helping me a lot. So it's great to have that involvement with him. Isn't he so cute? He looks like Ratatouille, right? He's so adorable. I love him. It's so fun. So we just recently completed a contest called #Dogs of Hilton Dallas. We had a Silky Terrier Club of America show in-house where the little Silky Terriers with the long hair pranced around, and they were graded and judged, and then there was a winner in the whole 9 yards. But this was serious business for these people. So it was like, how do we play into that group, incorporate them, and then do something also that the employees could be involved in? So with the help of Laura, we did a contest, and we encouraged the employees to enter their dogs in the contest. You could share out the contest as many times, get your friends to like it, and the person that had the most votes at the end would win a Petco gift card, and then we would do a dollar donation, a dollar amount donation to our local animal shelter. So this is Chris. He works in convention services with me, actually, and that's his cute little dog, Tyson, and he actually won. So he was very close in the running, actually, with the head of the Silky Terrier Convention, Ms. Carol Zaretsky, and she was not happy that she didn't win, but we weren't biased. It was all based on votes, so he didn't have any preference. He just had a lot of friends who took the time to vote for his dog. but we ended up having 43 entries and 884 total votes, so we got a lot of exposure with that, and it was super fun, really easy to manage. We did that through WishCon, so that was really fun. That was the first contest that we really did on a social level, and that was a really great time. I also do a social media newsletter. This was weekly, but I just could not keep up with it, so now I'm trying to do a bi-weekly social media newsletter, but basically what I do is I recap everything, and then I send it out to the entire email distribution list for the hotel. And then we also make copies and put it down in the cafeteria for those who do not have access to email, but I just recap some top posts that we did that got a lot of engagement on Facebook and Twitter. I put the new H360 links, some information about TripAdvisor, Scout, obviously we're pushing that, some great reviews, and then I always put a little funny at the end just for a little laugh. So that's something that has gotten a lot of exposure, and everybody seems to like it. So I'm going to continue to do that on a bi-weekly basis. Does anybody have any questions?
Can you email me the minutes from the old monthly meetings?
Yeah, like the agenda? Yeah, absolutely. I do it in Word. I just kind of, fancied it up, put some logos in there, and then I just modify it every month, so it's super easy. I mean, you could change the color. I just chose purple because I was like, oh, that's great. But I can send that to you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How does your community help you? Did they post? Did they collect content?
So it's majority collecting content. Everything still comes through me. I'm still the voice. We chose to have one voice on property. We've added Chef on Instagram because we feel like you can't really do a lot of damage. Sorry, Chef, if you're watching. But you can't really do too much harm posting pictures of the garden. So we allow him to do that, and he's excited about it. But majority of it does come through me. And if anybody has any ideas or anything like that, then somebody will call me. They'll send me an email. But when we meet every month, then we'll go over. People will bring whatever they've gotten for me, or I will ask them then, can you get this for me? Bring it back to me by next month, or whatever the deadline is, so we staff. But everything still goes through me.
Do you find that it's hard for the chef to get back to you in terms of specials and things that are going on?
Not my chef. No, absolutely not. I will email him, and he will email me back in 2 seconds. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like, how are you able to do that? But he's like right on his phone. He already has his own Twitter handle, but we are still kind of venturing into whether or not we want him to use that like on a property level. So we're working on that, but we started with the Instagram, but he's totally on board and very easy to work with and get a hold of. So it's a good situation. Yeah.
So you said like you had your chef posting sometimes on social media. Do you have any of the other community members like directly engaged on the channels, either posting or responding to comments, or even responding to reviews at all?
No, everything goes through me.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to get there one day for sure, but it's a work in progress. Yeah.
The example where you're tagging team members, are you going through, and this might be a question for the whole room, are you submitting releases for them to sign for their photos and like?
Usually I ask them, and I'll say, if you please note that what I do involves social media, and at this point I've been there for 2 years, so they understand. And I do have a select, maybe 3 people who have told me, we've talked about it, like, no, I don't want to be a part for this, that, and the other reason. I'm like, that's absolutely fine. But when I do come to take a picture, please step out, because I don't want to lose an opportunity for, like, I did a post with our banquets team, and I had like a collage, and this certain person happened to be in it, so I couldn't use it at all. And I'm like, that's really disappointing when there's 20 other people who want to be involved. So it's like, okay, I understand you don't want to be involved, but if you could step to the side so I can get everybody else, because they do want to be involved. So it's a fine line that you have to kind of play with and make sure that everybody's on board. But yeah, kind of have to finesse it, I guess. Yeah.
Do people submit images to you, or are they submitting the content idea and you take the pictures? Because we kind of have an issue with quality of.
Yes. Sometimes I get pictures and they're like, I'm like, guys, what is this? Like, I can't even tell if this is. So I mean, of course, in a perfect world, I would prefer to be able to just go around and take all the pictures myself, because then I can hold myself accountable and I know the quality that I'm taking. But that's not always the case. But anything that anybody will send to me, I'm absolutely appreciative, because it's helpful to me. Even if I can't use that photo, if they send me 5, maybe I can use the other 3. You know, like there's still an opportunity for me to use whatever they're sending me, or even if they come up with an idea, then I can go off of that. So it's a mixture of both. But yeah, I mean, especially HR and our revenue analysts, like they're really involved in a lot of the events that happen on property. So like if I'm upstairs trying to make a sale and we're having like the employee luncheon downstairs and I can't be there to get the shots of housekeeping coming in and, you know, dancing around and doing all the fun stuff that they do, like I can always rely on them and they're gonna get great pictures for me. And then we just put it into the shared drive and I get it from there and I do what I need to do with it, and it's good. So yeah, we've over the past 2 years it's been a work in progress, but we've gotten to that point. So yeah.
Love the deck. I mean, for what I do in my job, I'm going to steal your deck. But what you hit on, I was going to make sure everybody caught it. Make sure you're posted on H360, the Care Community website, or the MC Suites culture thing.
It's all very much entwined.
Yeah, please make sure you're posted on the internal ones, because it's going to give great ideas for our other hotels. So thank you for supporting H360.
Absolutely. It's a huge push at my property for sure. Yeah.
Do you have a app on the community, or is it like the more the merrier?
At this point, initially I was like, anybody who's interested, please come on down. You know, like I'm out here on this island by myself. I just started. Nobody knows that we even have a Facebook, like, and that was a big struggle in the beginning. My GM could attest to that it was just he and I sitting in his office trying to brainstorm ideas together, and I'm like, we need some help, man. Like, this is not enough. So we started, and that's when I went out and I started talking to the people on the front lines, like, okay, you have social media, you have some channels here, you work at the front desk, could you help me? Would you be interested? Go and have the conversation with them and say, do you know what I do? Would you like to help me do what I do? Like, it's really fun. You can take some pictures, send them to me, we'll push it out, you know? So that's how I started getting everybody involved, and it's just grown. But I mean, I think we're in a good place right now, but if the opportunity came up and we had a new employee who was like super excited and wanted to be a part, I mean, I wouldn't turn them down, God no. Yeah.
Your newsletter, do you put that in, Spanish or other languages?
So Nella, and she's in HR, she will translate a lot of the posts of what I do, like that we put up in the cafeteria. So we'll do it in English and in Spanish, because housekeeping is predominantly Spanish speaking, and I know pequeño, real. So I can converse with them a little bit, but not an entire newsletter. So she helps me tremendously with that. She's a huge asset for that. I was like, we have to have somebody who speaks Spanish on the committee. I need help, because Google is great, but it's not always 100% right. So yeah, she's a great asset to have for sure.
One more question. Can you elaborate a little bit on the Blue Energy Committee and how that, how you tie that into your social media outlets?
Yeah, so when I started, obviously we've had Blue Energy for years, but there was nothing about social media and Blue Energy, and then my GM said, Kayla, you need to get involved with Blue Energy because you can take a lot of what we're doing in the community and take it back to social. And I said, God, yeah, that's a great idea. So I got in there, and now like on the agenda, there's like a section for me to talk, and so it's definitely evolved. And I have a lot that I can take away from it and share. But we talk about what are we going to do this month for the community. Does anybody have anything that they've heard that's coming up that we could participate in, that we could share? How many H360 posts do we have this month? Does anybody have any great stories to share that they saw happening, on the front lines when they were working? And it's really a great, I don't want to say networking, but for me, like to use and take back to social, it's tremendous. And now that I've gotten a lot of buy-in from my employees, the people that I work with, and they know what I do, it's a lot easier to get information and to be respected, I guess, in that way. Because in the beginning, I was like, Facebook, what are you even here for? Like, do you have a real job? Yeah, actually I do. So it took a couple years, but Blue Energy is huge. So if you're not part of Blue Energy, I would suggest that I don't know how it works at everybody, or the care committee, I don't know how it really works if it's a property-to-property situation, but at my hotel, you have to be selected or like invited to be a part of it, like, or recommended. So like the GM said, you need to be a part of this, so I was recommended by the GM, and that's how I got involved. But I would suggest that everybody reaches out and tries to find out, because that's content builder for sure, huge. A lot of useful stuff there. Anybody else? Well, thanks, guys. How many hearts?
Did nobody heart me?
They probably don't know how.
Yeah, they probably don't know how. It's a work in progress.